Sultan Abdülmecid I, Abdul-Mejid I, Abd-ul-Mejid I or Abd Al-Majid I Ghazi, Ottoman Turkish, Abdul-Mejid I evvel, 23/25 of April 1823. The 25th of June 1861, was the 31st Sultan of the Ottoman Empire and succeeded his father Mahmud II on July 2, 1839. His reign was notable for the rise of nationalist movements within the empire's territories. Abdul-Mejid wanted to encourage Ottomanism among the secessionist subject nations and stop the rise of nationalist movements within the empire, but failed to succeed despite trying to integrate non-Muslims and non-Turks more thoroughly into the Ottoman society with new laws and reforms. He tried to forge alliances with the major powers of Western Europe, namely the United Kingdom and France, who fought alongside the Ottoman Empire in the Crimean War against Russia. In the following Congress of Paris on the 30th of March 1856, the Ottoman Empire was officially included among the European family of nations. Abdülmecid's biggest achievement was the announcement and application of the Tanzimat, reorganization, reforms which were prepared by his father Mahmud II and effectively started the modernization of Ottoman Empire in 1839. For this achievement, one of the imperial anthems of the Ottoman Empire, the March for Sultan Abdul-Mejid, was named after him. He was born at Besiktas Sahil Palace or at Topkapı Palace, both in Constantinople. His mother was his father's first wife in 1839, Valide Sultan Bizmyalim, originally named Susie, 1807 to 1852, either a Circassian or Georgian slave. Abdülmecid received a European education and was a fluent speaker of the French language, the first sultan to do so, while being interested in literature and classical music like Abdulaziz who succeeded him. He was an advocate of reforms like his father Mahmud II, and was lucky enough to have the support of progressionist viziers like Mustafa Reşat Pasha, Mehmet Emin Ali Paşa and Fuat Pasha. Throughout his reign he had to struggle against conservatives who opposed his reforms. Abdülmecid was also the first emperor to personally listen to the public's complaints in special reception days, usually every Friday, without any middleman. Abdülmecid toured the empire's territories to see in first person how the Tanzimat reforms were being applied, traveling to Izmit, Mudanya, Bursa, Gallipoli, Çanakkale, Lemnos, Lesbos and Chios in 1844. He toured the Balkan provinces in 1846. Reign. When Abdülmecid succeeded to the throne, the affairs of the Ottoman Empire were in an extremely critical state. At the very time his father died, the news was on its way to Constantinople that the empire's army had been defeated at Nazip by that of the rebel Egyptian viceroy, Muhammad Ali. The empire's fleet was at the same time on its way to Alexandria, where it was handed over to the same enemy by its commander Ahmed Fevzi Pasha, on the pretext that the young sultan's advisors were sold to Russia. However, through the intervention of the European powers, Muhammad Ali was obliged to come to terms, and the Ottoman Empire was saved from further attacks while its territories in Syria, Lebanon and Palestine were restored. This was finalized in the Convention of London, 1840. In compliance with his father's express instructions, Abdülmecid immediately carried out the reforms to which Mahmud II had devoted himself. In November 1839 an edict known as the Hat Serif of Gülhane, also known as Tanzimat Ferman, was proclaimed, consolidating and enforcing these reforms. The edict was supplemented at the close of the Crimean War by a similar statute issued in February 1856. Named the Hat Humayun. By these enactments it was provided that all classes of the Sultan's subjects should have security for their lives and property, that taxes should be fairly imposed and justice impartially administered, and that all should have full religious liberty and equal civil rights. The scheme met with keen opposition from the Muslim governing classes and the ulama, or religious authorities, and was but partially put in force, especially in the remoter parts of the empire, and more than one conspiracy was formed against the Sultan's life on account of it. The most important measures of reform promoted by Abdülmecid were: introduction of the first Ottoman paper bank notes, 1840, reorganization of the army, including the introduction of conscription, 1842 to 1844, adoption of an Ottoman national anthem and Ottoman national flag, 1844, reorganization of the finance system according to the French model, reorganization of the civil and criminal code according to the French model, reorganization of the court system, establishing a system of civil and criminal courts with both European and Ottoman judges, establishment of the Meclis-i Marifayum-i, 1845, which was the prototype of the first Ottoman Parliament, 1876, institution of a Council of Public Instruction, 1846, creation of the Ministry of Education, establishment of the first modern universities and academies, 1848, established an Ottoman school in Paris, abolition of an unfairly imposed capitation tax which imposed higher tariffs on non-Muslims, 1856, non-Muslims were allowed to become soldiers, 1856. Various provisions for the better administration of the public service and for the advancement of commerce, new land laws confirming the right of ownership, 1858, decriminalization of homosexuality, 1858. Another notable reform was that the turban was officially outlawed for the first time during Abd-ul-Mejid's reign, in favor of the fez. European fashions were also adopted in full swing by the court. The fez itself was later banned with the hat law in 1925 by the Republican National Assembly, which had already abolished the Sultanate and proclaimed the Turkish Republic in 1923. Samuel Morse received his first ever patent for the telegraph in 1847, at the old Bilibili Palace. The present Bilibili Palace was built in 1861 to 1865 on the same location, in Constantinople, which was issued by Sultan Abdul-Mejid, who personally tested the new invention. When Kossuth and others sought refuge in Turkey after the failure of the Hungarian Rising in 1849, the Sultan was called on by Austria and Russia to surrender them, but he refused. He also would not allow the conspirators against his own life to be put to death. The 1911 Encyclopedia Britannica says of him, Abdul-Mejid bore the character of being a kind and honorable man, if somewhat weak and easily led. Against this, however, must be set down his excessive extravagance, especially towards the end of his life. In 1844 he created a new coin with that name, and in 1852 he instituted the Order of the Majid. According to an Irish popular legend, in 1845, Abdul-Mejid I declared his intention to send £10,000 to Irish farmers during the Great Irish Famine, but Queen Victoria requested that the Sultan send only £1,000, because she herself had sent only £2,000. The Sultan sent the £1,000 sterling, despite his own virtual bankruptcy. A letter found in the Ottoman archives, written by Irish notables, explicitly thanks the Sultan for his help. He may also have sent 3 ships full of food. Newspaper articles from the period refer to 3 ships from Thessaloniki, in the Ottoman Empire, sailing up the River Boyne in May 1847, although the river was also reported dry in that month. According to Abdul-Mejid in an article in the Fountain magazine, the British administration tried to block the ships, but the food arrived secretly at Drogheda. There are no records of this with the Drogheda port, nor the Irish National Library, nor in any British archive. If the ships were sent, it is possible that the Irish records were destroyed in a later fire. The Ottoman Empire took its first foreign loans on the 25th of August 1854 during the Crimean War. This major foreign loan was followed by those of 1855, 1858 and 1860. Which culminated in default and led to the alienation of European sympathy from the Ottoman Empire and indirectly to the dethronement and death of Abdulaziz in the following years. His success in foreign relation was not as notable as his domestic accomplishments. His reign started off with the defeat of his forces by the Viceroy of Egypt and the subsequent signing of the Convention of London, 1840. Which saved his empire from a greater embarrassment. They successfully participated in the Crimean War and were winning signatories at the Treaty of Paris, 1856. His attempts at strengthening his base in the Balkans failed in Bosnia and Montenegro, and in 1861 he was forced to give up Lebanon by the Concert of Europe. He restored the Hagia Sophia between 1847 and 1849, and was responsible for the construction of Dolmabahce Palace. He also founded the first French theatre in Constantinople. He was made the 717th Knight of the Order of the Garter in 1856 and the 52nd Grand Cross of the Order of the Tower and Sword. Abd-ul-Mejid died of tuberculosis, like his father, at the age of 39 in Constantinople on the 25th of June 1861, where he was buried, and was succeeded by his brother, Abdulaziz, the oldest survivor of the family of Osman. He married many times and left several sons, of whom 4 eventually succeeded to the throne. His first marriage was in Constantinople on the 1st of August 1839 to Circassian or Georgian Valide Sultan Sevkfsa, Poti, the 12th of December 1820, Constantinople, Ortaköy, Sragan Palace, the 13th of November 1882 or the 17th of September 1889, and had 2 children. His second marriage occurred in Constantinople on the 10th of November 1841 to Armenian Valide Sultan Tirimujgan or Tirimujgan Kadın Efendi, the 16th of August 1819, Constantinople, Faraya Palace, the 3rd of October 1852 or the 2nd of November 1853, and had 2 children. His third marriage occurred in Constantinople on the 27th of March 1843 to Valide Sultan Gülsümel Kadın Efendi, Caucasus, 1826, Constantinople, Ortaköy Palace, the 16th of November 1851 or the 29th of December 1895, originally named Sofia, a Circassian, and had 5 children including Mehmed V. His fourth marriage occurred in Constantinople on the 10th of June 1852 to Caucasian Verdisinan Kadın Efendi, Caucasus, 1826, Constantinople, Besiktas Palace, the 9th of December 1889, and had 2 children. His fifth marriage occurred in 1854 to Circassian Glustahaski Kadın Efendi and had 2 children including Mehmed V. His sixth marriage was to Bismara Kadın Efendi, which was celebrated in a ceremony. His seventh marriage was to Valide Sultan Rahim Peresta, daughter of Gojankak Bey of the Yuba tribe of Circassa, without issue, who became the adoptive mother of Abdul-Hamid II and one of his half-sisters. Additionally, he married Dusdidil Kadın Efendi, August 1845, and had 1 child. He also married Neveza Kadın Efendi and had 1 child, Sayzade Mehmed Burhandin Efendi, and he married Nalandilahaski Kadın Efendi, 1829, Constantinople, Besiktas Palace, the 23rd of December 1890, and had 1 child, and finally, he married Aisha Safiraz Kadın Efendi, 1837, Constantinople, Ortaköy Palace, the 9th of June 1905, and had 1 child, Sayzade Süleyman Selim Efendi. In fiction, a fictionalized version of Abdul-Mejid I appears in the 2008 novel The Bellini Card, by Jason Goodwin.